more room in hell. The dead will walk the earth.
Greetings, this is your old pal Lord Dixie, or if you're friends with me on Facebook, you may just know me as Alan. I'm coming at you today on this YouTube, part of a new series of videos that I hope to do. I've been trying to do this for a while, and so far I've had no luck. You could call this attempt 1.3. I tried earlier in the week and had some technical issues with the app that I was using, so I just went to the onboard iPhone video camera. Tried that earlier today and actually ran out of memory, so I had to go clear up a lot of stuff. And if you use the iPhone, surely you know about the issues with overloading your memory so very easily. So now that it is around 11:30 at night and I am tired, this will probably work and it'll just end up being an actual good technical video, and I'll just be all shitty, kerflunkered, half asleep. But anyway, sippy sippy. See, using a little Monster to keep my energy level up when I do this. I prefer to drink nothing but water, because what I'm doing, I've decided to make a video over something that I'm actually good at, and that's eating. The challenge will be actually making it entertaining, because something I'm not is entertaining when I'm sober, at least sometimes maybe. Sippy sippy. There's a little water to really clean the palate. But anyway, as I said, I'm going to make an attempt to do a series of videos of food reviews, and I'm not going to necessarily give them a review on a 1 to 10 scale or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you my opinion. Is this a good product? Is this a bad product? What does it taste like? What does it cost? What's the relative value? Are you getting scammed by this shit, or is it something you need to try? But anyway, what and I actually started talking about this months ago, was doing a review of potato chips. And I use potato chips as kind of an overreaching umbrella statement. I may do other chips, veggie chips, fruit chips, stuff like that. Anything, I guess, that would be considered a crisp in Great Britain. Trying to cover up my accent by overpronouncing it. Great Britain, the United Kingdom, crisp potato chips, snackies. And tonight, I am going back to what my first video was originally going to be about. One of my favorite brands of potato chips. This was a flavor of that brand that I had not tried before my first failed video, so I'm going to try it again. I will tell you ahead of time I enjoyed it. But the brand is Zapp's. It's kind of reversed there in my camera, but you can hopefully still read it out. Upside down doesn't make it better. Zapp's potato chips. Zapp's is a local Louisiana brand. They are cooked, it is a kettle chip. They are cooked in Gramercy, Louisiana. You can find them all throughout the Gulf Coast region, and they have spread out. I'm not going to say that they're nationally available, but I do know, I have heard of them being available in Dayton, Ohio. I've noticed that the General Dollar Store is carrying a couple of flavors of Zapp, so they may be carrying them nationally now. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm going to try out. But for years, Zapp's has been kind of known as a local New Orleans brand of potato chips, and as everyone knows, I'm completely insane about New Orleans. I love it. It's my second home, you might say. But anyway, tonight is the Zapp's, and is the Zapp's Mesquite Barbecue. These are the Mesquite Barbecue New Orleans kettle style chips. We have the 5-ounce bag. I could not find the smaller size in the Mesquite Barbecue. I was hoping to find the smaller size, so I don't have half-open bags of chips around, and I don't have to eat a whole fucking bag every time I do it. I've got smaller sizes on some of my chips. Some I simply do not. With this is the only size I've been able to find locally. I got this at the Walmart. It was I don't think the price is on the bag, but these were $1.88 pre-tax. A little over $2 with tax. So I'm gonna open these up and snacky. Now, I actually ate some voodoo chips, which is another flavor of Zapp's. I ate those when I was trying to do the video earlier this morning when I was wide awake. And I popped open the bag and you get assaulted by this aroma of the voodoo flavor chips. But not so much with the Mesquite. And not saying that's necessarily a negative thing, but it was definitely a positive thing when you pop the bag open and you get this rush of flavor going to your nose. It's really, really nice to actually smell your chips before you even dig in. You can smell the barbecue, but it's a really, really subdued compared to the voodoo flavor. And I am going to redo my voodoo video, but I have to get another bag of voodoo. I want to start with an unopened bag. I think that's only fair, and I'm going to try to do that with every video. Anyway, let's get on to it. Now, looking into the bag, first thing, if you bought a bag of potato chips anytime in the century, you know what one of the main complaints, little jokes everybody makes. You're paying mostly for air, so that's your bag of Zapp's chips. And I'm going to do this. I'm not doing this as a slam on Zapp's. I think you're going to find this on almost all chips. They weigh them, I think, by actual weight, not by volume, and they pack the bags and they settle. At least that's their story. But we will make this as kind of a comparison. We'll see about how much of the actual bag is chips and how much is there. And you got roughly half a bag of chips there. Let's dig in now and take one out. And you see the very bright coloration on this. Very pretty. And really subdued barbecue flavor at first. It's not really spicy as far as most people equate spiciness with heat. It's not really a hot chip. A little tanginess. It does have a barbecue flavor to it. I guess my favorite barbecue chip of all time was the Ruffles, which I don't think they even make anymore. I haven't seen actual barbecued Ruffles in forever. Those are my favorite barbecue flavor. I'm going from memory for a long time, but these don't seem to be nearly as flavorful as the Ruffles were. Now I'm starting to get a little bit of heat in the back of my mouth from them, but it's still far from unpleasant. Not what I would call hot. This isn't a heat that's going to bother anyone with a sensitive mouth. I don't care how sensitive your mouth is. I don't think these are going to bother you. And I'm not someone who eats jalapenos raw. I will have a few jalapenos in my meal. If I buy something like the loaded hash browns at Waffle House and they get jalapenos, I'll eat about half the jalapenos, chunk the rest out when the heat gets too much for me. So I'm not I'm not one of these guys who are going to be doing videos about hot peppers like my friend Danny. Not me. This is just a little pleasant tanginess. I don't think anyone would mind the heat from it. The flavor seems to be actually building with the heat. After like the third chip, you start kind of getting a little smokiness that I can pick out in the chip. It's subtle, but there is like a smokiness from the Mesquite, I would assume. Oh, sippy, sippy. And you can probably hear the crunch. And that is one thing I definitely want to mention. These are a sturdy chip. They don't actually look thick cut, but they are extremely sturdy. This is not a brittle chip, which is another thing you can see if you look into the bag and you can just kind of reach in blindly and pull a chip out. And almost every chip in the bag is still whole. That one is one that looks like it's broken, but it's a fairly large chip. I'm pulling these out kind of blindly. Another really large chip that's broken in half. But there's seriously, I don't think there's any way you can see that unless I just take a handful. These, seriously, most of these chips are whole, or pretty much whole. Because it is a very sturdy, very crisp chip. You get a lot of crunch when you bite into it. You get a lot of texture. It's not brittle. You know, when you bite into it, you really take clean. You don't get a lot of brittleness and not a huge amount of dust. Anytime you have a seasoned chip, you're going to get the Cheeto dust effect, which everybody loves, the Cheeto dust. You can just sell Cheeto dust, people would buy it. There's some here, there's not a little. And the Voodoo seem to have more, but the Voodoo has, I think, more of a amount of spices added onto it when it's cooking, so it's going to be more powdery. It also had a lot of powder in the bottom of the bag when I finished. I'm not going to eat this entire bag on camera because I wouldn't put you through that. Just a very firm chip. And it really doesn't look like it's particularly thick sliced. So I'm not sure how they managed to get the crunchiness. If they do cook them a little, they do cut them a little slicier. Did I say cut them a little slicier? They cut them a little thicker, possibly, but it doesn't really show in this. Or if it's something in their baking technique that does it. They do use peanut oil versus vegetable oil. So I did a little research on them earlier today before I dug into eating them. It's a very good chip. I do say I wish there was more of a barbecue flavor to it. It's just a little too subdued. You do get a little heat, you get a little bit of spiciness, you get a little bit of smokiness, more so than on a regular chip, but it's almost more of an aftertaste than when you first chew into it. Speaking of chewing into it, I just bit my lip. So if you see a little blood later, we'll just up the rating on this to R. I'll add a little spice to the chips. So, we can take another drink here. I promise, if I start to throw up, I will edit that part out. And I do want to apologize for the lighting. It's a little bright, but it is 11 o'clock, so I've had to turn all the lights on. If I can do this in daytime in natural light, it'll be a lot better. But I do not believe in shooting dark videos. I don't live in my fucking sister's basement, so we're going to have some lights in here. Hopefully not enough so you can see the water that dripped from my lip as I was talking. So, my review of Zapp's Mesquite Barbecue Potato Chips. It's a good sturdy chip with a lot of crunch. I would like them to have had a little more flavor. It's not a bad chip. It's not a bad tasting chip. It is a very good tasting chip. It does have that smoky mesquite taste, but it's just a little subdued. The flavor does last. I haven't ate a chip in several minutes now, and I can still feel that barbecue flavor in the back of my mouth. And that's something with all of the Zapp chips I've noticed. You really do get a good lingering flavor. And as with some of their other flavors, it does tend to build up. The more you eat, the more that flavor just seems to exponentially get better. It's a very sturdy chip. Doesn't break very easily in the bag. Either that or they have some very gentle handlers. You get a lot of whole chips in your bag if that's a thing. If you want to do a presentation and put them out, you'd have some, see, very, very nice looking chips there. Also very colorful for a celebration type event. I just love Zapps. These are not going to be my favorite barbecue chip. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not going to be my favorite Zapp's flavor. Right now, my favorite Zapp's flavor is still going to be Voodoo. But I've got some more I'm going to try. Some of them I have had a taste or two of. Some, there's a new sweet pimento and cheese, I believe, is the name of the flavor. It's new. The store were out, or else I will be making a video of them right now. I'm going to be doing it in the future. I am also going to be doing videos of other chips besides Zapp's. And I saw some very interesting looking chocolate covered potato chips that I just may have to sample those too. But anyway, that's it. Like I said, I recommend the Zapp's line, but their Mesquite barbecue is not my favorite barbecue chip right now. It's probably going to go back to the Lay's as of right now, because Lay's does have the chips that are readily, easily available. The Lay's barbecue chips, they do have more of a barbecue flavor. It's a more outstanding flavor. I will, of course, if this goes on, review those at some point in the future. It's decent value, $1.88 for a 5-ounce bag, and I think you're going to find the half bag is pretty much standard in the chip industry, so don't get your panties in a wad about that. It's not an insult towards Zapp's, but I am going to try to compare each one as I eat them and per the sizes. So go out, get you some Zapp's, try the Mesquite barbecue. You might like them better than me. If you do, leave a comment. If you like the video, hit like, hit subscribe. We'll be back soon with another one. And for right now, this is your old pal, or the guy you really, really can't stand. Either way, it's still Lord Dixie saying goodbye for now.